my name is Ann Kent. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and the owner of Peas and Toppiness. Today we're going to talk about how to cut a mango. Mango season runs between May and September, and although you probably won't see them at your local farmers markets unless you live in the southern part of the United States, mangoes at this time of year are going to be the best quality because they are able to be picked at the peak of ripeness. So most of our mangoes in the United States come from either Florida, California, or from Mexico, but most of the mangoes in the world actually are grown in India. So mangoes are native to Asia originally, but they are a very delicious treat. And so I do find them a little bit difficult to cut. And so I want to share a couple of different techniques to cut these. First, I want to share with you a couple different varieties. So I have two examples here. There are a bunch of different varieties. There's about 4 main varieties in the United States, but if you go to the grocery store, these are the 2 most common types of mangoes you'll see. This is called a red mango because you can see that the skin is starting to turn red on the outside, and this is a yellow mango because it is yellow, so aptly named. These do happen to both be from Mexico. When you are picking out a mango from the store, you can tell that it's ripe because the skin starts to change the color of the fruit inside for the yellow ones, or it turns that nice red color on the red ones. You can see that this mango is not quite as ripe. It's a little bit green, and it's also a little bit more firm to the touch, which means that it's not quite ready to eat. So this mango is starting to become a lot more soft, and that's how we know that it's going to be closer to ripe. It's okay to pick a mango that's not quite ripe if you know you're gonna have it home for a few days. Leave it out on the counter. That's the best place to store a mango, and let it ripen over the next few days. So once it does become soft, you can see that I can press that just a little bit and it leaves a little indentation. That means that that mango is ripe and ready to go. So there's basically 2 ways to cut the mango. The first way that I used to always cut the mango was using a vegetable peeler to take off the skin, which is not edible, and then cut the flesh inside. So I'll show you that way first. I have washed my mango, you'll notice, and I always do that even though we don't eat the peel, just because if the peel does have any bacteria on it, I'm cutting through that peel into the fruit that we are going to eat, and so I want to make sure that we don't contaminate anything that's out on the outside of the peel. We don't want to get that on the inside. So I am just peeling that off. You can see it comes off pretty easily. This mango is ready to go. It's nice and soft, a little bit squishy. Mangoes are really high in vitamins A and C. You know that it's high in vitamin A because of this beautiful yellow color. Beta carotene is the antioxidant that is the precursor to vitamin A. Our body actually converts it to vitamin A. So any vegetable that is yellow or orange means that it has a lot of beta carotene in it, which is going to give you your daily vitamin A. So now this mango is all peeled. The next step is to take a paring knife and to cut around it. You can do this a couple of ways. You can simply slice pieces off of the mango. You do have to be careful. There is a pit inside. It's different than an avocado because avocado pits are easy to remove. This one is not. So the first way to cut your mango is to just simply slice pieces off of that mango until you reach the pit inside. If you want nice and pretty pieces of mango, this is probably not the way to do it because these are just kind of at random. So if you're making a smoothie, this would be totally fine. So I'll show you the second way that you can cut a mango. I'm gonna remove that little stem. For this way, we actually don't peel the mango first, but we do cut around the pit. So the pit is sort of oblong, it's thin this way, and then it's wider in the shape of the mango. So I'm going to cut on the outside of where I think that pit is going to be. So not quite down the middle. Then I have this nice half. And I'll do that with the other side as well. So I'm gonna cut on the outside of where that pit will be. And then I have my second half. Now to get all of the fruit off, I go ahead and peel this outside with my paring knife. So I just really carefully I take as little of the mango as I can, but I peel just around the edges there. And we'll discard that peel. And now, just like I did on the first technique, I'm just gonna cut this extra piece of of mango off. You'll be able to feel where the pit is because it gets more difficult to cut the closer to that pit you are. You don't need to try to get too close to it because the flesh really close to the pit is not as tasty. It won't be quite as sweet. But once you're finished cutting all of the flesh from the pit, you are free to give this to your kiddo or eat it yourself and chew the rest of it's very slippery at this point, chew the rest of the fruit off of there because you can see that there is still a lot of fruit there. It's just difficult to get all of it off. But underneath there is that unedible pit. So that part we'll discard. And again, for the second technique, now we have these two halves. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm going to gently score this mango. I'm not cutting all the way through, so there's no cut on the outside here, but I'm gonna cut this into cubes, into squares. Depending on what you're using this for, you might want to cut larger or smaller squares. So if you're using this for like a mango salsa, you might want to cut these squares really, really small. If you're just snacking, you don't need to cut them as small. So you can see that I've scored that mango, and now I'm literally going to turn this inside out. You can see all of these nice little squares here. So now I'm just going to take my paring knife and I'm just going to cut those squares from that peel. And you can see that these are going to be a lot more even in size, in shape. So if you do want something that looks a little bit nicer, this has a little bit nicer presentation. I find that this way is easier once you get the hang of it. If you are nervous about cutting too far, you can always lay that mango half down on a cutting board while you're cutting that through. Just be careful that you don't cut too far. You can see that I've actually cut through the peel a couple times. That just makes it more difficult to cut through, but nothing is wrong. And there you have it. You can store your mango in the refrigerator for a couple of days. I like to just put it in an airtight container. It's really good if you aren't planning to eat it right away. You could freeze it and use it in smoothies. Ours usually gets eaten up before then though. So I hope you enjoy this mango. I hope you try it. I will drop a couple of links with some of my favorite recipes that use mango. One of them is a strawberry mango spinach salad. So with strawberries in season, mango in season, spinach in season, this is the perfect time of year to try that out. So if you have any questions or have opinions on how you like to eat your mango, I would love to hear it. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know how you enjoy your mango and if you try out this technique and if you use technique 1 or technique 2 to cut your mango. So thanks everybody, and we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.